it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you know, I am, well, you may not know, I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. This fortnight, so we started on Monday, I am doing a Case the Catalogue series. So I'm taking the retiring 2018-2019 annual catalogue, the one that looks like, let's find the front, the one that looks like this. It is with us until the 3rd of June, up to and including the 3rd of June. We have this catalogue, and then on the 4th of June, we will get our new catalogue, and I've just lost my place, of course, but that's fine, I know where I'm going. So our new catalogue, let me grab it because it's gorgeous. Ooh, lovely. I can't open it until the 4th of June. I mean, I can open it. I can't show you it until the 4th of June. If you are already a customer of mine, and by that I mean if you've ordered from me in the last year, then I have already ordered catalogues. I cannot tell you how many catalogues. The poor UPS man is going to be struggling. So I've ordered catalogues, and the first people to get them will be customers who have ordered in the last year. If you would like a free catalogue, you can either order from me now, and I will get one out to you straight away, or you can ask for a catalogue by jumping over to my website, and there is a catalogue page there, and you can ask me to send you a catalogue, and you can ask which ones you want. But as I say, if you are after one of these catalogues, the first people that will get them sent out will be anyone who has ordered from me in the last year. It's one of the perks that I like to give my loyal customers. So really looking forward to working from that catalogue. There are some amazing, amazing things in it. But today we are casing this catalogue, and we are going to page 68 and 69, which is the Broadway bound suite. That has got the Broadway birthday stamp set and matching dies. This is currently a bundle, so if you want to save 10%, it is carrying over into the new catalogue. So if you want to save 10%, if you order it before the 3rd of June, and I would say I would get it ordered before about 9:30 at night, just in case. If you order it up to and including the 3rd of June, then you get it at 10% off. So what's not to love about that? There's also the designer series paper, which I have got a little bit left. Not much. There's a little bit more than this, but not very much. This is all I have got left. So we are casing the catalogue. Now, I'm looking at this box, and I know it's a box because I can see it's a box. I am not making a box because I don't have enough card to make a box, but I can turn this into a card. So during the last couple of videos that I've shown you, I've done an almost straight lift from the catalogue. I've tweaked a couple of things, but not very much. This I am going to do pretty much this design, but I'm going to do it as a card rather than as a box. So I have already got a basic black card base, which I've got cut at, so it's half a sheet of A4, so cut a half sheet of A4 and score it down the middle to make an A6 card base. If you're in the States, it's still a half sheet and you fold it in half. You're going to end up with something shorter and fatter, but it's basically the same thing. So I've got a couple of pieces of the lovely lipstick designer series paper left. I've got some of the Starburst. I've got numbers. Don't need that one actually. I've got some of the explosions. I have already die cut one of the hats from the pattern paper that this is on, which has got lots of hats. And the paper, the dies fit the paper. There are stamps that go with it as well, so don't feel that that's a problem. So here's the hat, and that is a die. So you can still die cut even when you don't have the paper, so always good to know. Suddenly terribly warm, so I'm going to take a layer off. I'm filming this over the bank holiday weekend and it's not actually terribly warm, but it's fine. This time last year we had one of the warmest bank holidays, if not the warmest bank holiday on record. Go figure. Right, okay, so I'm going to do this kind of almost reverse engineered, but not quite. So I'm going to layer up my various bits. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough of the lovely lipstick, which is why I brought the numbers out as well. I've lost the lovely lipstick, there we are. So I'm going to be coming there and there, and then this needs to come on somewhere, and we'll need some of the ribbon. And yeah, you see, I'm not going to have enough because I don't want a huge strip of this. I could use a huge strip though, couldn't I? Although I do quite like having the numbers. Oh, it's a decision time. So I could have the numbers almost instead of the starburst, and then the ribbon would fill the gap, but not enough by the time I've... Oh no, it may work. Right, so what I'm going to do, and this is going to seem slightly strange, it would be so much easier if I had a piece already cut. Right, I'm going to cut another piece of basic black to 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and anyone who has watched me for any time at all will know that's my standard first mat. So 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. And there is method in my madness. So we have a mat, and let's get rid of our trimmer, which is, at recording this, is still available, but it will be going. It's not going to carry over to the new catalogue, so if you want it, you know what to do. So the reason I have got this is because I can then layer my card, my designer series paper, which is almost card, onto it, and then I know I've got everything square and I can just trim it off. So let's get going. I want snail, I think. So, and it seems a shame to cover up these lovely candles because they're gold foiled and everything, but you know, I can get over it. I am, after all, just using up some scraps. Now, how much further do I need to go? Not much, actually, so I'm going to put some glue there and then pop this onto my basic black card mat, and then make sure that that is square, which it is. And I don't mind if I see a little bit of basic black because I'm going to be putting this straight onto a basic black card base. So it doesn't matter. So, again, pop some adhesive on here. And the reason I'm using liquid adhesive on designer series paper is, as much as anything, because this is almost like a lightweight card, this is specialty paper. So it is a bit thicker than ordinary DSP, so I know it will take having liquid adhesive, but it also gives me wiggle room, which is particularly wonderful. Right, so I'm going to have a strip of this, and I want to come so that it's bursting at the edges. I'm actually going to pop this, I'm going to stick that on with, pop the adhesive onto the card rather than the DSP. So I'm going to have it hanging off both ends. Right, then I want my numbers, and I can have that, again, I think I want to have that, actually I might go that end. Yeah, right, I'm going this end, so there. There is, I will explain what I mean by why I'm doing that. because I don't want anything to start straight on the card. I want it the right way up, however. So having the 8 kind of hanging off the end is a better look. Except then I've got the... oh no, I need to come this way a bit, so I've got a bit of 0 as well. So I've got a little bit here, otherwise the 1 is going to be starting on my card base, and I don't want that. Right, okay, so let's press all of that well. I was about to turn it over, and then I realised I've got glue here. Not the best idea, frankly. Right, now I am going to just trim a tiny piece of this to go in the gap, only so that there is something there. So I just want probably that much. I mean, a really tiny piece. Just so that if there is anything showing out from underneath the ribbon, when we eventually get it on, there's something underneath that isn't just plain black. It's just me being me, really. So, pop that on. How are we doing for time? 11 minutes, not the end of the world, that's fine. And again, I'll pop that so that it's... oh, I suppose I could come down, couldn't I? No, we'll go back where we were. So we'll have that skimming across the bottom of those numbers. And just press. I am going to cover that up, so I'm not too worried. And then from the back, with my snips, I'm just going to cut straight down. And basically what I'm doing is I'm lining the edge here against this cardstock. That way you get a nice straight cut. So that is completely smooth. So I'm pushing this against the edge of the blade. And if you keep it square against the card, then you know you are cutting in a straight line. And that is smooth. So we don't need those bits. We need our little hat and we need our that. So that is our card front. So that's going to go on here. And because we're on basic black card with a basic black card back, it's not going to show that it's different. So what I'm then going to do is cut a piece of ribbon, grab my tear and tape, and I just want 2 short pieces of tear and tape. I love that it is, you know, you do just tear the tape. It does what it says on the tin. So we can make sure those are on and then peel the backing off. And if I line, I'm going to get all fingers and thumbs, so I want that sort of there-ish. Yep. And if I turn it over and line up the edge against a grid line, I can then tuck that over, peel the edge off, the end off this, come on, and pop that down. I don't want it too tight, because what I'm then going to do is, where we've got this huge great bow, I'm not going to do a huge great bow. I'm going to tuck my ribbon in. I could do a huge great bow, couldn't I? Why not? Why not do a huge great bow? So I'm just going to do a bunny ears bow. So an Auntie Betty bow in my life. So you get 2 loops. Let's go back. So put your ribbon underneath your straight piece of ribbon, make 2 loops and just pop one under the other. And then you can pull it tight and adjust it. And this is why I say, if you don't have this too tight, because when you pull it tight, you're pulling it in, it means that by not having this piece too tight, you can do that without the card buckling, because otherwise it will pull up at the edges. So pull it tight, adjust it so that it's how you want it. And I want it as a big bow, but I don't want it as a huge bow. Whoops, pull it tight. And no, it's that one I need to pull. And then you can trim your ends. 1, 2. And there is your bow, which you can slide where you want it. Oops, except then you've undone it. I've undone my bow a bit. That's right. Do it up again. And if you want to make sure that that stays put, grab yourself a mini glue dot and then you can stick it in place. I just need to make sure that this is then going to be in the right place, which it is. So I can grab myself a mini glue dot with my paper piercer. This is going, so if you want one of these, so I can then pop that just there, and that will keep that in place. And can you see, if I bring this up close, can you see that this is why I put that backing piece in? Because otherwise, by pulling these two bits together, this would have just been an edge with black card behind, which is fine, but just not the look I was going for. So I've already punched out of powder pink a scallop circle, which is carrying over. Not all of the circle punches are, just to let you know. Versamark ink, and grab my gold embossing powder, which inevitably is the one I can't find. There we go. Gold embossing powder. Right, if we're embossing, we need our embossing buddy. So let's bash some powder over that. And for the person who asked whether this was my first piece of grid paper, a floral grid paper it is, and look, it's getting dirty, so I'm going to have to replace it. Right, there is a stamp, which I thought I'd got out, but I clearly haven't, which is, there we go, 2, and I need it on that block, 2 little diamonds. Now I actually only really want 1 at a time, but that's fine. So all I'm going to do is ink up 1 just by going onto the edge, and I'm going to pop that up at the top, and then I'm going to clean my stamp with my chamois, which I've cut in half. Now I am going to, at this point, just add some embossing powder to the one I've already stamped, because then I can see it. And then, making sure that this is dry, I'm going to ink up the other diamond, and I'm concentrating, so I've gone quiet, and I'll have that down there, and then do another one, which I'm going to pop over here. And hopefully they will be in the right place. Who will know? We will find out in a moment. So dabble those into my embossing powder. Yep. Okay, so I can get rid of that. Grab my trusty cheese board, which is on my desk. I thought it was back where it's most supposed to live, and it's not. Right, so 1 trusty cheese board. Just make sure you haven't got any stray bits of embossing powder. Then grab your heat gun. Sorry, I'm going to have to heat it up and it's going to be noisy. And love it! Right, that's that done. Get rid of that. Okay, don't need that stamp anymore, so let's get rid of our diamonds. Right, so next we need to do some stamping on white card. and I've got a piece of Whisper White scrap here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is sort out my sentiment. So I've got my sentiment, which I'm going to pop onto, let's make some space, pop onto my grid paper, and I'm going to line it up straight on my grid paper and pick up the stamp, and then I'm just going to double check that it's straight, which it sort of is. Right, and then I'm going to stamp in Lovely Lipstick, because it's the matching colour, right on the edge of this piece of card. I'm shaking. Let's celebrate you! Yay, and it's straight and everything. Good, okay. So we then also want, I don't know why I'm putting that away, we then want a Lovely Lipstick stamped off, which would be so much easier if I had something to stamp it off on. There we go. Lovely Lipstick stamped off, ice cream top. So we'll pop that there. And then we want our cone, which I'm going to do in Crumb Cake. I've just sorted out my new storage, and it's the Storage by Stampin' Up, which I know is out of stock at the moment, and I'm sorry. It will be coming back in. But now that I've sorted my ink pads out into that, it's so easy to find everything, because I've also got the markers next to them. It's just brilliant. So when that's back in stock, I highly recommend grabbing it. Right, so to get my Let's Celebrate You, I'm just going to have this lined up so that it's right there. Much easier to stamp on the edge and then trim down than the other way around, as in I would never be able to stamp straight onto that. So don't even try, she says. So let's just trim that there and there. Oh, and it looks like it's going to rain. Why wouldn't it? Okay, so just need to die cut these, and then we can put it all together. So I need the top of my ice cream cone, come along, and the bottom of my ice cream cone, and I will pop those through the old Big Shot. Oh, I'm going to have to do those one at a time because the magnetic base plate is pulling, which it does do. I love my magnetic base plate, but it does pull. Right, there's one. And by pull I mean the dies decide where they're going to go. Particularly the smaller dies. It's easier with the bigger dies, it just does as it's told. And there's the other. Right, just get that off. Right, okay, so let us pop this all together. So, card base, tag. So let's start with the tag. This is where I really, really, really hope that I've got this lined up correctly. So I need a dimensional on there. I need the edge of a dimensional, which may or may not work. Actually, we can probably get away with a small mini dimensional on the back of there. Then a mini dimensional, will that fit up there? Yes, just about. Just. And another one. Right, okay, so let's start with our cone. Oh, wrong way up. Let's start with our cone. Now what I don't have, because I don't have them, is the birthday candle dies. So I'm not putting one on because I haven't got any. I'm going to have to cough. My sincere apologies for that. Right, and then this is going to go on at a sort of jaunty angle. I'm just going to attach that with some Tombow. There. And then grab I've got a 1/8 hole punch. If you haven't got one of these, they are now out of stock, I'm afraid, but a small hole punch is what you're looking for, just to pop a tag in. And then I've got some of the gold braid. Don't think it's on this page, no it's not, but it's the gold braid from the annual catalogue, and just pop that through. I can't remember if it's carrying over. I have a suspicion it's not, but I honestly can't remember. And then I'm just going to tie a knot in there. Actually, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I am. Because it's not a parcel, so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to tie a knot in that. And trim it down a bit more. And I'm going to attach this with dimensionals. If you're in the UK, this will be a large letter because we're using lots of dimension. And then that is just going to go there. And then I'm going to stick that down with one of our trusty glue dots. You could tie it round your ribbon, but it's kind of easier just to stick it down with a glue dot. If in doubt, attach things with glue dots, that's what I say. Okay, so then we've just got to attach this to our card base and we're done. So where are we? 27 minutes. Wow, I've got to hurry up because I've only got half an hour and then my camera gets bored. You're probably already bored. So, as I say, this is a bundle that is carrying over, but not as a bundle. So if you want to save 10%, then you need to buy it before the end of the 3rd of June. Let me just press that from the back. I would, of course, put a white liner in my card so that someone can write on it. But there we go. So this is our original, and this is what I've made from it. So I've changed things a little. It's a card, not a box. I've done it straight rather than diagonal. But you can see where I got the original idea from, and of course it would be nicer if it was straight too. It's nearly straight, it's fine. So, thank you very much indeed for watching. All the information is below, so everything I've used, a link to my blog post where you've got close-ups and dimensions and all that good stuff. Dimensions for the basic card. I'm not doing dimensions of the bits of leftover DSP. There'll be a list of all the products that I've used. Remember, when you shop with me, please use the host code and then you get free products. That's between £20 and under £150. If you're over £150, you become your own host and you get to choose your own free products with your host rewards. Thank you very much indeed for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you very much indeed, and I'll see you again tomorrow, I hope.